How you guys doing? Welcome into Rover Sports, the podcast. I'm here with my buddy Davey Horns, aka Dave. We're going to get a more creative nickname for you as we go along. But Dave, it's a pleasure to be speaking with you.
Pleasure's all mine.
So Dave, we're going to talk about the college football picks. We're going to do college first, and then we are going to do the professional picks. We're going to keep a running tally. So I have a notebook here. And are you all right with giving out picks?
I am giving them out this week for free. In the future, maybe not. Today, yes.
And I guess we'll do the big games. We could pick 10 games that we really like on the board. There could even be some over-unders that you like as we go forward. But yeah, I'm excited to get into the show. I'm even going to, before we start off with our college football picks, I got to give you a lot of credit. And I'm editing our picture for our YouTube channel right now. Because I got to give you credit. Gardner Minshew is the new cult hero of the NFL, and you were one of his biggest fans to start out the year.
Yeah, you got to love a guy that just comes in there, a true underdog story in Gardner Minshew. The whole story about how he was going to go to Alabama just to become a coach last year. Mike Leach calls him up, says, "Gardner, do you really want to do this, or do you want to lead the nation in passing next year?" He does that. Runs with the opportunity. Now the starting quarterback in Jacksonville, and I know they paid Nick Foles a lot of money, but if he keeps on playing well, it's gonna put up a little bit of a controversy. Even though I think Nick Foles wins that controversy 9 times out of 10, there may be that one time though.
Yeah, because I don't know if Gardner Minshew has the arm strength. The one thing is he does protect the football. He's going to be in the NFL for a long time. I didn't know he was a 4-0 guy, but I found that out today. And, no, he's a big-time player.
Yeah, he's going to fall right into that mold before we start previewing this out. He's going to fall right into that mold of probably low-end starter, most likely. Maybe he goes in and becomes a lot better than I even think. Or that elite backup level where he's still going to make a lot of money in the NFL for a long, long time to come. I'm really happy for him. It's a great thing getting the opportunity. Now let's get to the picks.
Yep, let's definitely get to the let's get to the freaking picks. I was going to mention one other thing, but I of course forgot it.
Let's go.
But yes, let's go. So I'm going on Bovada right now. That's the site which I use for the picks. And let's start with tonight. We have USC and Utah. We have another form of Mormons heading towards the Coliseum. Utah is everybody's dark horse team. I think the line last time I checked is -4 for the Utah Utes going into the Coliseum. What do you think about this matchup right here?
I think this matchup right here, it's good. It may be one of these games, you see it, it's -4, Utah, number 10 in the nation should blow them out. This is going to be a lot more comfortable game for the freshman quarterback Slovis than last week going into BYU, who Utah just absolutely killed week 1. I see this being a close game. Utah loves to ground and pound. They kill you on the ground with Zach Moss. Then Huntley's going to hit you with that play action. To me, this could be a very, very interesting matchup. It really did come down to, for me, is how does the freshman quarterback react? You're not on the road. It's not a hostile environment, but at the same time, that's the big-time Utah defense. What do you think, Spence?
Right, it's a really good pass rush. I definitely would stay away from the game because I me and you were both kind of fooled on. I'll tell you, we were fooled on Utah and USC and Stanford. We were fooled there. You know what I think about Slavis. I think that this kid is the future of football. I couldn't be any higher on him as a prospect. Watching his interviews, how professional he is. I'm rooting for Graham Harrell to do well at USC. I think Clay Helton, that was a very disappointing loss against BYU. BYU doesn't have great offense. I think Utah's defense is going to play fine. Can USC stop the running game? I just am not sure how good the USC defense is, though. It's a complete stay away, but I think we have to make the pick here. I think we should try to make the pick.
Okay. If you put a gun to my head, have to make the pick. I will take the points with USC. I'm not sure that they win the game, but I think Slovis has a much better game at home than on the road last week, which is his first true road game. I think it's a lot more comfortable in the Coliseum for him. You know, it doesn't get real loud in there either for home or away because the fans are so far away anyway. I think, you know, plus the 4 points, they figure out a way to cover the game.
I agree. I am ready to I'm going to take the USC Trojans as well. I trust Slavis in the spot. I think that they can even maybe outright win this game. And I'm definitely also like kind of rooting for them to do so. So I'm going to take USC in this matchup.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to noon. I think that tomorrow the noon slate is the best slate of college football. And I'm not going to give away this pick. You might know where I lean here. We'll start off with my favorite matchup of the entire day. The 0-2 Tennessee Vols playing the undefeated Florida Gators in the Swamp. It's a noon game. Usually this game is CBS Game of the Week, but that is going to A&M and Auburn, which is interesting. But this is a noon game at the Swamp. It's a 14-point line for the Florida Gators. What do you see in this game right here?
You know, a lot of people will start with this, you know, Florida lost its starting quarterback, all that stuff. You know, Tennessee's terrible, but you know it's going to be an interesting matchup from a whole bunch of perspectives. Task from Florida, backup quarterback, comes in for Felipe Franks last week. Looked unbelievable. You know, Tennessee has not looked like they could stop a dead person this year. I'm not going to get into too many matchups. I'm not sure if Kavate, I forget what the receiver's name is. Kavan, Tony.
Yeah, it's Tony. Kendarius.
Yeah, Kendarius, Tony.
Just Kenneth Tony. Kenneth
Tony, okay. Yeah. If he's playing or not. I know he was out last week. I'm going to begrudgingly say I'm going to lay the points and take the Gators in the Swamp. They still have a very good running game, a powerful offensive line. It's going to be tough, but that's the way I'm leaning towards it. Now you, Spence.
Yeah, I'm glad that we can authentically disagree with this game altogether. I think college football is a week-by-week process. I know it was University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, but this is a game with Kyle Trask. You saw how horrible Florida was against Kentucky with a backup quarterback that wasn't even Terry Wilson. I think that Florida's the most overrated team in the country, and Tennessee is finding their sea legs. I mean, they should have beaten BYU. BYU goes out there, beats USC. Tennessee looks awesome last week. Tennessee's coming in with a chip on their shoulder. This is such an important game for Jeremy Pruitt. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to wake up, go to my local place where I bet, and I'm taking Tennessee outright to win this game. And the points is a joke. I think Tennessee wins the game outright.
Interesting take, Spence. Interesting take. I'll disagree with the outright. Could see him cover, but.
All right, I'm going to another game. We're going to go through these. I'm going to go first here with my pick. I am taking Northwestern plus the 9 against Michigan State. State's offense is terrible. Mark D'Antonio's offense is so archaic. Even Michigan State diehard fans, he's the best coach in program history. It is just infuriating to watch them play. The over-under is 37 in Evanston, but I'm going with Northwestern here, plus the points, and maybe even the under hits as well. It's going to be an ugly game.
The game's in. Where's the game? It's in Evanston?
Yes, it says Northwestern. Yes, it's Northwestern.
Okay, so at Northwestern, +9 points. Yeah, I think I would have to agree with you. It's too many points to. It's just too many points for Michigan State to be guaranteed to score. They scored like 3 points last week against 7 points last week against
ASU.
ASU.
Yes.
Who I think we'll get into this later is a much improved team, but yeah, you have a very good quarterback in Lerecki. They don't take the reins off of him. D'Antoni is not the best coach in program history. I think it's easily, even though he wasn't only there for a cup of coffee, is Nick Saban. But, that's a whole other story for another day.
Another story, another day. I love that line. I love that line from you.
We're gonna go. We're gonna take the points. Can't see this game being a shootout, obviously. Take the points. Have a good day.
I love it. Hunter Johnson. It's time for Hunter Johnson to mature, become a man. He is a little boy from just outside of Brownsburg, Indiana, and it's time for him to be the 5-star quarterback. I want the Wildcats to win. I'm fairly confident in that. We are going to go now to the big matchup. It is now a Big Ten matchup at 12 o'clock on Fox. It is Wisconsin playing Jim Harbaugh, and it's crazy that Michigan is undefeated. Take it away, Dave. Michigan, Wisconsin.
What is the line on this one, Spencer?
The line is Wisconsin. They are favored by 3.5 at home.
Take Wisconsin. If you have a little piggy bank and you don't have a little bit of money, take the piggy bank, break it open, and take Wisconsin tomorrow. Wisconsin, I think, is going to run the ball all over this vaunted Michigan defense. Wisconsin's defense is going to give Shea Patterson, the boys, trouble. The freshman running back, I'm not sure of his name, from Michigan, can't find a hole to save his life. I think Jim Harbaugh has done his worst coaching job this year. That being said, we know it's week to week. They come out a whole different team, but I just have not seen it from Michigan at all this year. They look slow. They look predictable. Everything they do, it's just, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm shocked that the line is not like 7 points. Maybe there's so many wealthy Michigan people that are keeping this line down, though. That's the only concern. This should be like a 7-point line.
The thing you got to remember is in Vegas before the year, Michigan in their power index was 5, and Wisconsin was probably somewhere around the 20 mark, if I'm not mistaken, in the power indexes that they go up by just based on neutral fields. I'm sure that has changed by now, but Michigan before the year had a lot of respect. So,
well, let me also ask you this question. The Charlie Strong South Florida Bulls, which is Wisconsin's best win, did they lose to Georgia Tech?
I think they may have.
I love every year going back and finding like each team that lost to each, because the Citadel is gonna be the end of the season. If you play that game, like Alabama loses to who. But I agree with you. I think Jonathan Taylor, Heisman guy. I haven't seen it from Michigan. Shea Patterson might be one of the most overrated players. I have a friend of mine who really likes Shea Patterson. He was considered a second-round draft pick. I'm not sure that where do you see Shea Patterson getting drafted? Like 5th round?
At this point, if you based on the film this year, getting drafted might not be happening for him based on what we've seen right now. I think Shea Patterson's one of these guys who has reveled in that, comes out of the IMG Academy, number one player in the nation, number one quarterback in the nation, and you just haven't seen it since then. He had some good games at Ole Miss. Last year, you probably would have said at Michigan you'd like to see more. I'm not sure where and when he gets drafted, to be 100% honest. It's just, I don't know. I can't say with certainty that he's getting drafted.
Yeah. I'm not even sure that he has the nest. I mean, he does have great scrambling ability. I think he could be a backup in the NFL, but incredibly disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly disappointing. Let's go to SEC game of the week. Texas A&M and Auburn. I think that this is such a fantastic. I'm so curious about this game. College Station.
Yeah,
What do you
I
think?
I think this is the classic game. I think the line's like 3.5. What is it?
The line for this game?
Yeah.
Oh boy. I think that this game is, yes, 3.5. Yes.
3.5. Okay. Yeah, I saw it yesterday when I was watching SEC Network. I think this is going to be just that typical game where the road team is going to struggle. You know, Kellen Mond's going to be able to throw the ball on that defense. You're looking at a team in Auburn who, they faced a little bit of adversity against Oregon, all that. That's great, but they weren't on the road. Bo Nix, who I think the world of after that Oregon win, still he struggled in that game. And what you're going to probably start seeing a little bit of the growing pains. I think for his first SEC game on the road, take Texas A&M. Jimbo has Kellen Mond playing great. Kellen Mond plays his best against these top 10 teams. If you look at historically, his QBR is much better. It comes out like 87 against top 10 teams compared to the not top 10 teams. It's like maybe something like 72, something like that. So he's a big game player. He's going to step up. The 12th man's going to be going crazy. CBS, game of the week. Take the Aggies.
I agree. I think that this could be a very good pick the more you think about it. If Auburn wins this game, I'd be absolutely shocked. Kellen Mond is going to bounce back from Clemson, where he was absolutely terrible. I love the Kyle Field environment that you talk about. It's 3.5 points. Auburn's offense doesn't even look that good. Tulane even slowed down this team. Now, the defense is going to play well. You know it's an interesting number as well? The over-under is 47.5 points. Even though these teams both play like a high tempo, I think it's going to be ugly. I think that it's going to be very low scoring. And I'm with you. I can't go Auburn on the road. I can't. You know, it's Texas A&M.
Yeah, it's just one of those games that screams to me. You know, you see Auburn, it's 3.5. You see the top 10 team, everyone will think, I'll take the points. And more so, people want to take a money line. I would stay away from that notion, guys. This is one of those games you do not want to be a part of Auburn. The running game has lacked any consistency. And in order for Bo Nix to be able to be good tomorrow, most likely that run game is really going to have to get going. I don't see it coming against Texas A&M.
Boobie Whitlow is horrible. Or is not horrible. That offensive line's terrible. I went in on Boobie Whitlow.
It's okay.
I apologize.
Don't ever apologize for your take.
Guess what? And David, before we go on with these picks, no matter what on this show, I'm trying to win this competition against you. So me and you might have exactly the same picks, but I am not I'm not going to try to be creative and just disagree. So I'm going to stay firm in my predictions, even if we agree with everything.
That is fine. I mean, you want to win. Congratulations, Spencer, on your big flag football win last night, 34-14, 3 touchdowns, 2-point conversions. We're going to get into that preview next week, but just so everybody know that Spencer was a stud last night, threw for about 500 yards in flag football. Kind of looks like Gardner Minshew at Washington State. Let's go on to the next pick.
Yeah, I got a big future in not only flag, but I'm going to try to take – if I go to a college program, I mean, this YouTube channel, my life is going to explode. So that's the end game.
There you go.
You know, the end game is the NFL, is backing up Daniel Jones. That is the end game for me. I am going to go here, and this is one of my favorite picks of the entire week. You're probably going to agree with me because I think you're a smart guy. I like to pride myself on my gambling, on my picks. I am going with the Washington Huskies. I love them. You could get them for -6.5 going to BYU. BYU just played such an emotional game against USC, and the week before that, they played Tennessee. They've played 2 straight overtimes, actually combined 3 overtimes in the past 2 weeks. BYU's offense is terrible. Washington just lost to they lost a game against California where the game literally started at 5 in the morning Eastern time, and only you were up watching the game, David. So that game, it's like that game never even happened. But Chris Peterson's going to be really pissed. Washington's coming off of a bye. Washington's defense is always really good. They always churn out NFL players. I think the Huskies roll in this game. The over-under's 51. I don't get why they think BYU is going to score on Washington at all. So I think the Huskies absolutely can win this game by a touchdown.
So I'm going to correct you on something here quickly. If you look at Washington's schedule last week, they played a little-known team from outside the Great 48, the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. They beat them 52-20. Also covering a 21.5-point line last week. So
I apologize.
They did play. They weren't on bye, but it might as well have been a bye, Spence. So I get where you were coming from. Washington, take the 6.5. I agree with Spence. It's one of the better games this week. I don't think that this Zach Wilson from BYU is very good at all. If you looked at the way that BYU was able to score last week, it was a couple of bad turnovers from USC, and you can say, well, they're creating the turnovers. I wouldn't expect Jacob Eason to be making these same freshman mistakes and just literally throwing the ball to linebackers, ill-advised, and things like that when it's a freshman's first game on the road. Eason is a veteran quarterback, was very good with Georgia. I don't think that this BYU defense is going to scare him at all. Take Washington, lay the points. I agree. Next game.
Don't look back. How about the Shane Buechele game? We're going to go even a little bit faster. We got a lot of games to cover. Shane Buechele at SMU actually playing well. TCU number 25 in the country. Max Duggan's a freshman. They had a big-time win. 8 points for TCU versus SMU.
Where's the game? SMU?
It's TCU.
The game's at TCU?
Yes.
Okay, I will take the points. So I'll take the 8. I am not sure either way. I know that Shane Buechele and SMU have been like a firecracker this year. They have been on fire. They have been great. I have not watched 1 second of TCU football, so I'm going to go in kind of blind on that end. And
you know what? We're going to skip that game because we don't know about it.
We're going to trust the older quarterback. We're going to trust him, and I'm going to take the 8 points. I know what the gamblers do. You take the points. Take the points there.
You're taking SMU. All right, I'll go TCU. All right. I mean, do you want to count that for our tally, or is that too obscure?
Count them all. Count them all.
Count them all. How about South Carolina, Missouri? You know those games. I'm taking Missouri -9 at home. I think that 9 points is crazy, though, and that is a Vegas line. If the game was 5, I would take Ryan Helinski. But guess what? Missouri kicked the crap out of West Virginia, and you could say, well, West Virginia sucks. I think Missouri's actually unbelievable. They're great at running the football. They're a physical team. It's not like Kelly Bryant's all that good, but their defense is spectacular. They're the second best team in the East by a mile. And I love Missouri here, -9. It's a game where Missouri will roll South Carolina, maybe.
Now, where's the game being played? Is that
it's
Missouri?
Columbia, Missouri.
Columbia, Missouri. I will.
Helinski is good, I will say that, but go ahead.
I'll agree with you on that. Missouri probably is the second best team in the East. I'm going to take the points here.
Wow.
He looked last week he looked the part of being able to put points on the board. And here's the thing with South Carolina, where you say, well, there's no moral victories, and they got lit up for 47 points against Alabama last week. The one thing I took a lot from is that they were able to put Alabama into a bunch of third down situations. Now, once you got Jerry Jeudy and Ruggs and Weddle and, every option known to mankind out there, it's kind of hard to stop two on third down a lot of times. But I don't think it's going to be quite that way this week. I think Missouri is not going to score quite as much as Bama did. South Carolina should be able to put some points on the board. Could be looking at a late backdoor cover type of deal here, but yeah, I'm going to take the 9 points or 9.5, whatever it is, and let's take the South Carolina Gamecocks.
It's actually amazing. Will Muschamp, I think, is undefeated versus Missouri. You remember the rain game last year?
I do remember the rain game last year. I mean, these are those weird games. I think it's a little bit closer than those lines will indicate sometimes, so that's why I'm going to take the
And guess what? Also, there was a game 2 years ago, Drew Lock, and Missouri was favored against South Carolina, and Jake Bentley actually came in there, and they killed Missouri. So, but guess what? It's an emotional turnaround for Will Muschamp. I'm starting to love Will Muschamp. I mean, that interview with Jamie Erdahl on the sideline when he's like, you could find me for the rest of my life. I mean, I'm starting to love Muschamp. He's just a sweaty mess on the sideline. And do you like Muschamp, David? What do you think about Muschamp?
I mean, as a Texas fan, he was great with Texas when he was there. Obviously, it was supposed to be Mac Brown's replacement. It didn't happen. He left a little bit early. Muschamp, he's a good guy. I kind of think he is what he is. Kind of 8-4, 7-9, 7-5 type of coach.
Sure.
I don't think he's a guy that's going to lead you into that promised land, but you know what you're getting out of a little Muschamp program, team that plays hard, be solid fundamentals. I think now that they got rid of Bentley, the team has a lot more upside because Bentley was if Bentley was the quarterback tomorrow, I'm taking Missouri all day. But you got the freshman in there, can move the ball. I think you got a good chance to cover this.
I like it. I like that we're doing a lot of college football, and it's even going to be. We're even going to pick a lot of games that are off the radar just to get the tally up, and this is one of those games. The Fighting Les Miles. Are you going to watch West Virginia, Kansas tomorrow?
I am not going to lie to you. I will not be tuning into ESPN Plus tomorrow watching Les Miles versus West Virginia.
Why? So you're saying no? You're too cool for that game.
I'm not streaming it on my phone when I can watch everything else on my TV. Yeah.
So you're not going to – yeah, you're right. If it was on an ESPN channel, it would be possible.
Yeah, I think the game's on ESPN Plus tomorrow. I am just not going to be watching it.
Oh, the Plus. They get you for those $2 a month,
$4.99 a month. It's probably the best $4.99 I've ever spent in my life. It's unbelievable.
You love it? Is Disney paying you to say that?
Use code. I'm just joking, but
you were joking because how about those Peyton Manning comedic sketches though? You can't live without those.
Yeah, it's great. I'm a big soccer fan as well. I know a lot of football fans aren't, so that they provide a lot of content. ESPN Plus, it's great if you like that type of thing. It's just a lot of content, $4.99 a month. I can't live without it. So yeah, there's my plug for ESPN. Hopefully they pay me for that.
Let's go to the Pac-12, to the farm. We got Stanford, Oregon. Stanford looks terrible. Oregon's favored by 10.5. Who do you take here?
Where's the game?
It's at Stanford.
Game's at Stanford. Take Stanford.
And the 10.5?
Take the 10.5. Somehow every year, Oregon, they come in favored into this game one way or another, wherever the game is, and no matter what, they seem to choke it away. I'm just not trying to rewrite history right now. I thought Stanford looked good last week in the second half against UCF, even though it was a lot of garbage time. I think they found some things on offense that seemed to start working for them. I'm just going to take at home. I think it's a little bit different. Take the 10.5 points.
I'm going to take Oregon. I
There you
still
go.
think they're a really good team. There's a possibility Stanford bounces back. It's a lot of points, but hopefully Herbert can come through. The more you think about it, the scarier the game can be with David Shaw. You never know when he's going to pop up and get you. You know, David Shaw is always that sneaky coach. I think he's very overrated. He's a wonderful guy. He recruits great character kids. I think Shaw is super overrated, though. He keeps on getting mentioned for NFL jobs. He hasn't won a championship. Shaw's good. He's not great.
I mean, I would disagree there. I don't think he's necessarily overrated. I think you just got to take into account there that David Shaw literally cannot get the same kid that Oregon can get into school. So it's a lot different type of a kid when you're talking about your recruiting bases cut by 95% compared to what Oregon can get into school. But that's neither here nor there, and somehow he's still competitive.
That's a story for another day.
Another day, exactly.
Another day. I'm going to offend you, David. I can't wait for this game. You're a diehard Texas fan, and I am just going to say this. This line, I think, opened up at 9. It is now down to under a touchdown, 6.5. And once again,
the other way, Spence, but okay.
The Fighting Sean Gleasons of Oklahoma State Cowboys, the Fighting Mullets, go into Texas, and they are not only going to cover, they are going to win this game. Chuba Hubbard is the best running back that I have seen in college football since like a Dalvin Cook. Like, I think he's going to be a first-round talent. He's going to be an incredible NFL running back. And he's an amazing player, and it's going to be tough to stop that offense. I don't think Texas' defense has been that good. I want to congratulate you on beating Rice at a neutral site. It was crazy that you had to play them in Houston, a hostile environment. But in all seriousness, I am going with Oklahoma State here to win the game. Talk about your Longhorns.
I am not concerned about Chuma Hubbard the way you're making him out to be like Barry Sanders out here, but you know, he's a great running back. I think you see it every year with Oklahoma State that these running backs look a lot better than they actually are. I think it has a lot to do with Gundy's scheme. You know, they spread it out. Miles Sanders, that's what concerns me more than anything. He's that X factor. He's that type of quarterback that has not been playing at Oklahoma over these years. Where, yeah, he can throw that ball all around the field, but then he can step up and get you a 50-yard touchdown at the same time. I don't think really Oklahoma's had that type of threat. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe it. That being said, you're coming down to Austin. Sam Ehlinger is completing about 80% of his passes. Sam Ehlinger tore apart LSU. I understand that Joe Burrow, he tore us apart 2 weeks ago. Not going to happen this week. Line's at 6 or 6.5 right now. Take the Horns. Can win by at least a touchdown. And
Texas.
I honestly don't think this game's going to be that close.
Wow. It will come down to Spencer Sanders. He didn't pass that well against Tulsa, so I guess you could have a valid point there. I'm going to open it up again. Or should I let you open this up? But me and
you give me the game. I'll open it up.
You want to open it up like a freaking Christmas present. I almost even forgot about this game. But I got down to the schedule. I will be watching this game. It is Notre Dame. It is Georgia. It is a big game for the Fighting Irish and their reputation. Go ahead and open it up.
Yeah, this game is everything for the Fighting Irish because I've said this many times on the phone with you, Spencer. This game is 20 times more important for Notre Dame than it is for Georgia. And people will say, well, how is that? Georgia's a 14.5-point favorite. They're supposed to win this game. So, yeah, if they lose the game, it's going to be a bad reputation. Notre Dame cannot make the college football playoffs if they lose this game. It's a physical impossibility. Notre Dame, I think, is going to struggle in this game with the speed of Georgia's defense. I'm not a big fan of Ian Book, even though they scored a jillion points. Great job against Bob Davie and the New Mexico Lobos. Might as well have Paul Weir out there coaching defense, but, you know,
the press.
That's another coach for a different sport. But, you know, Notre Dame, every year they look great, and then they'll have like that disappointing loss to like North Carolina. Last year they didn't do that, obviously. This Notre Dame team is very average. I think most years they're very average. They don't ever really play anyone, and then it seems how last year when they do play people, these teams are extremely injured. So what happens when they go to play Clemson? They get blown out the building. What happens a couple of years ago? They make the national championship. The line's at like 9.5. Everyone pounding Notre Dame. Get blown out by Alabama. Notre Dame is going to get run off the field tomorrow. 14.5 points is a tricky number. I'm going to. I don't like taking this many points. Laying this many. I'm going to say lay the points to take Georgia. I think Georgia's going to come out. It's a statement for Georgia also. They're going to punch him in the mouth. I think Brian Kelly's a fake. I can't say anything good about Notre Dame. Just know that they're going to get killed tomorrow.
You just hate that. You almost hate them. You almost hate them as much as Coach Daish. Coach raised you well.
Yeah, Notre Dame's a fake. I think they're the fakest program in America.
And guess what? They can't even join a conference. Join the ACC, right?
And here's the thing that kind of gets me on Notre Dame, and it's not even about the pick. It's that they kind of hop around. You can say, well, yeah, we play USC, or we play Stanford, but USC hasn't been any good since Reggie Bush. Really, let's be realistic here. Yeah, and in most years they've been getting blown out by USC. Okay, they beat them last year. They beat them the year before. USC hasn't been very good recently. It's kind of like I don't know who that they play, and then somehow they come up with like these stats. They have the hardest schedule in the nation. It's like they don't actually go out and play anyone. This year they did. This year they did with Georgia, obviously.
Well, you know what it is. I'll tell you what it is. They never will play. They'll play a crappy Power 5, like a BYU, or I know I just said BYU's Power 5, but their weak teams on the schedule are like Boston College. So they don't play ever like maybe the cupcakes of all cupcakes. So somehow they're always intermediately hard games. Notre Dame is so fake because, their fans, which they don't have a lot of fans, they're just a team that completely lives in the past. They don't have the athletes to go down to Georgia and compete. They skate by. They're undefeated, but they skate by and they don't challenge themselves. And that's what happened with Clemson last year. They don't challenge themselves. Even Miami killed Notre Dame a couple of years ago. I'm with you. I think that they're just a very, very average team, and Georgia is going to run them off the field. They're just their fans just think that they're elite, but they just have to join a conference, and they just are so sneaky with how they schedule things. They always live in the past. I don't know. Do you know a lot of Notre Dame people? Because I don't know any Notre Dame fans my age. It's all these older people from around the Northeast.
Well, I'm from northern New Jersey, so obviously I'm kind of a Notre Dame hotbed of, if it's not Indiana, I'm in that Notre Dame hotbed of a lot of fans. These guys are delusional. It's, they're living, they still think they got Rudy Rudiger out there, or whatever his name was.
Right.
They still think they got Parseghian, whoever that coach is coaching them. And let me point something out to you. You could say, as a Notre Dame fan, but we're going out and playing Georgia this year, so we're not hiding from them. Remember, they only scheduled Georgia when they were a failing SEC East team about 7 to 10 years ago, whatever it was. They didn't schedule this game 2 years ago or anything like that.
With Mark
Richt. They scheduled them when they were a struggling team, and they became good out of nowhere.
With Mark Richt.
Yeah. So
and you know what? They couldn't even beat Jake Fromm when he was a toddler making his first start at their own stadium.
Yeah, just remember that this game was scheduled when they were like that kind of that 10 to 20 program, like they were good, but this was never supposed to be what Notre Dame would have never scheduled this game if Georgia was what they are today. Guarantee it.
I think a lot of people don't like Notre Dame.
All right, let's on to the next one, because I'll go for an hour about how much I hate Notre Dame.
I think that could be – I really want to make that a podcast, the Notre Dame hate, a roast session. Let's go through this this NFL schedule. You know what? I mean, we could do a podcast next time about Eli Manning and all the haters like Ryan Clark and all those people on ESPN that have piled on Eli Manning. I think that would be. I could go 2 hours on that.
Okay, we'll go 3 on it on Tuesday.
All right. So for you, look at the NFL games and tell me which picks you're confident in if you don't mind doing that. Why don't we could go through the whole slate, but what games do you like against the spread for NFL?
Let's see. Well, if I can pull up the lines here. All right, next week. One of the games I really, really like, a little bit off the beaten path, I'm going to say the Indianapolis Colts -1.5.
Wow, really like this is a game you like?
I like that game.
This is a barely watchable game. Wow, that is sneaky.
Off the beaten path, I think, from a gambling perspective, the Falcons are just one of these teams that historically, over the last few years, is atrocious, absolutely atrocious on the road. And, I think Brissett's been decent lately. I think this is one of those games, -1.5 with the Colts. You could say it's barely watchable. I'm trying to put money in my pocket. That's a game I like.
Right. Sorry about the phone in the background.
Well, yeah, because everyone's calling in for the pick, Spencer, so it makes sense.
They are, and I'm sure that oh my gosh, if the voicemail comes off my cell phone, I'll get spammed up by everybody. But I chose to do this upstairs. But you have to factor in the Swag Kelly is not on this Colts team anymore.
I think that's positive. So
Swag Kelly's not on the Colts team. Anyhow, I'm going to go to a game that I love. I think Cincinnati's run defense is the worst in the NFL. The 49ers ran it for 250 yards. Andy Dalton is still terrible. He's a bad quarterback at home. He's a bad quarterback on the road. This offensive line is undisciplined. You get Buffalo and you get them under a touchdown. Buffalo's legit. They're coming home. They're going to hammer Cincinnati at home. The under is 44. That's even way too many points. Buffalo and the under all day long. All day long.
Very, very, very interesting pick right there.
You mean you don't like that pick?
So it's interesting. I don't know that I trust. I've been around this game a long time in the NFL. I don't know that I trust 6 points in Buffalo at this point. I think that they definitely win. I don't know if that game somehow becomes a backdoor cover candidate.
Right. You ready? Are you going to fire another pick?
I'm looking. I'm gonna. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna fire another pick. I'm gonna be controversial here.
Okay, go.
Everyone in the world is on these guys. Everyone says the Patriots. They're gonna blow them out. Take the Jets in the 22 points. Take them.
Holy crap! You watched Luke Falk play, haven't you?
I have watched Luke Falk play.
Ooh, you're going Indy and the Jets. Wow.
I'm not picking them to win a game here, Spence.
Right, you're just picking them to cover.
And here's where I go with that, okay? I thought that Luke Falk last week, towards the end of the game, started looking like he found a little bit of connection with Anderson. He found a little bit of connection, with Ty Montgomery, Le'Veon Bell before he fumbles the ball away. I thought the Jets' defense looked great. I mean, defense all game basically had to stand and, the whole game. I don't know what the motivation for what's it called is going to be, New England, to just come out and blow these guys out the water. So I'm taking the 22. It's a lot of points, and I get that the Jets look god-awful. I just think that Luke Falk might be able to put up 14 points, and that's just kind of where I'm going to go with it.
All right. I'll tell you where I am going to go with my next pick. This is a lot of points, but this line continues to grow. And it's kind of sad because we are so far removed from the Josh Jacobs and the Derek Carr of Monday Night Football. And down came the Mahomes hurricane that pretty much battered John Gruden. Jonathan Abram is hurt. This team has to fly all the way to Minneapolis to play a Vikings team that's actually very good. The Vikings were down 21-0 to the Packers, and they played pretty much a flawless game except for Kirk Cousins. They played a flawless game, and they should have beaten the Green Bay Packers. They look legit. And Dalvin Cook is finally having the season that people envisioned. It's a 9-point spread for the Vikings, which is a lot of points. But I just think Oakland is just – I think they could beat – I think Oakland Raiders and Derek Carr could turn into the next Marcus Mariota. I see the Vikings just laying down the lumber and killing Oakland in this game.
Oh, there you go. I don't necessarily disagree. I wouldn't pick that game, but – I don't disagree. If I was going to take a side, I couldn't get myself to take those guys.
Are you looking forward to the Kyle Allen, Kyler Murray reunion show in Arizona? I mean, how fitting for Kyle freaking Allen.
I think it's a good story. You know, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of cameras on that handshake after the game, the big embrace. Once again, it's a barely watchable game. I expect Kyler -2 to get his first win.
I'm not sure. It's a really tight matchup.
It's a game. Let's put it this way. I'm not picking it. I'm not putting it as one of my official picks, but I would expect the Cardinals to get their first win.
I'm going to go ahead with another pick. I'm going to throw another one.
There you go.
You know what's bad is that when you're on Bovada looking at the picks or you're on everywhere, the team that you like is even money. That's never really a good sign, I guess. Is that accurate? And is that accurate?
It depends on like which way it's been being pushed over the day and things like that. So
I'm probably going to get screwed with this pick, and I guess that's a great way to segue into my confidence of this pick. But I trust the 49ers at home to win by more than a touchdown against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's definitely interesting. I mean, the 49ers have looked as good as it comes this year. I mean, you're kind of in that, you know, Mason Rudolph. You're in that Never land where I don't necessarily think he's a great quarterback, but still, you know, you just don't know it yet.
I don't think he's going to be very good.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. You're just kind of in that weird land of you're a little bit unsure. But the next game I'm taking, I'm going to do it. Maybe it's because I'm a fan. Take the 6 points. Take Daniel Jones and the New York Football Giants. I think 6 points is way too many points to trust with this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. Just the way I think about it, I would never ever take Jameis Winston -6 in the NFL. So when I have that type of feeling, why not take the team on the other end of it? I think this team for 1 week could have a real burst of energy. Daniels looked great in preseason. If you listen to the podcast earlier in the week, I actually believe week 1 of his era should look better than maybe week 2 or 3 even look because, you know, once again, the Bucs just don't have that much film on him. I think it's easier for him to react to the Bucs than the Bucs to react to him at this point. So take the 6 points, maybe even an upset. Just when you think the Bucs can win a game, they always seem to disappoint. And it's a terrible fan base, shouldn't be raucous. Should be a real easy environment for Daniel to come in. Take the 6.
I am 1,000% with you, and I don't know if I'm going to have the guts to actually like put money on this game because I don't want to jinx anything. But I'm putting it down as one of our picks here for our podcast. I'm going to take the Giants in my picks as well. And I'll tell you this, I'll be massively disappointed if the Giants can't win the game, because I really just want them to get this win and not be 0-3. And Tampa Bay, their defense is not good. Or their defense is actually all right. The fact is, I trust Daniel Jones a lot. I trust his mobility. I'm excited to see him play. I think he's going to do fairly well. And I guess, David, we know that DeAndre Baker has been playing zone and there's been coverage busts everywhere. So a lot of people think Jameis, who didn't throw an interception against the Panthers, they think he's going to light up the Giants. But at least you saw in the third quarter, the Giants, Marcus Golden, there was a little bit of a pass rush last week.
I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, I'm not a big Marcus Golden fan. He's an all-or-nothing type of defensive end, in my opinion. He's either getting a sack or he's almost like a non-factor in the play. But, yeah, he's definitely showing some signs of life. And, yeah, I think for 1 week, the Daniel Jones thing kind of keeps the game close. I'm not sure that they definitely win, but I don't see it necessarily being a blowout either.
I'm going to ask you about this game. I think it is a fascinating game. It's actually a game on Sunday night that I will definitely watch. It is the proven NFC champion Los Angeles Rams, and they are playing such a wild card team in the Cleveland Browns right now. A lot of the sharp money is on Cleveland. They are getting 3.5 at home as underdogs. I mean, how do you eye up this matchup?
The thing that scares me is I normally would say, yeah, take Cleveland, take the points. The thing that really, really, really scares me here, it's the inability to protect Baker. Baker hasn't looked great. That being said, it's like the offensive line is terrible. And, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but you're talking about literally the best defensive lineman of our generation coming into Cleveland. And he's just going to cause all sorts of ruckus against the Browns' offensive line. I don't know that I'm necessarily making a pick here in the sense of Browns or Rams, but my pick here would be under 47.5.
I think that is such a good pick. Is that maybe your most confident pick?
I mean, it seems to have the makings of it. That the game will probably be like 45-42, like the Monday Night Football game last year with Mahomes and the Rams. But the Browns' offense hasn't looked good. They only scored 23 last week against the Jets team that couldn't possess the ball, and that kind of goes against my pick with the Patriots. But I think this week will be a whole different story. But I just think the Browns have been struggling to score the ball. I don't think the Rams have really looked that good either. It's like 47.5 seems like a lot of points. Take the under and just kind of roll the dice on that.
Kind of relax. And
yeah.
I think that this game, I would love to see the Rams win. I mean, Baker Mayfield's been talking his mouth. Cleveland is just not an appealing team to me. If they beat the Rams at home, it will validate a lot of the hype. That's the thing. I think the Rams are really legit. Now, here's the scary thing about LA is Jared Goff is an awful road quarterback, and Myles Garrett, and I'm a little scared though, David, about this Rams offense against the Browns defense.
I mean, that's kind of why I say take the under. I'm not sure what to make of the Browns yet. You know, they beat a Jets team, lost to the Titans. We've seen the Titans the way they've looked the last 2 weeks. You know, Goff isn't great on the road. It just seems like an under game for me.
Let's talk about another game, and we don't even have to talk about this from a gambling perspective because it's a very tough game maybe to pick. The Baltimore Ravens, they are getting 6 at Kansas City. Lamar Jackson goes into Kansas City. The Ravens should have won last year. You think the Ravens can win this game?
Can they win the game? Of course they can win the game. I mean, it's a very good team. Well, Lamar has obviously taken a step forward this year. I think there will be a regression a little bit at some point, but his mechanics have gotten somewhat better. But he'll still go back to some of his bad type of mechanics. I think the whole difference with the Ravens this year, it might not even be as much Lamar Jackson. It's the addition of Hollywood Brown. And they're able to run those exotic screen plays where I think last week they had that one where it's like Brown's running behind the formation, running behind the running back. It looks like an obvious screen to everyone. They hit them with a little pump, and then out of nowhere, what happens? Everyone's biting on that screen because everyone's rolling the box to stop Hollywood Brown. He hits him. He hits on what's that tight end?
So true, Mark Andrews. I remember that play exactly. I just watched the tape of Lamar, and it's just trickeration. Hollywood Brown in space is so slippery. He's incredible already.
He's a lot like Tyreek Hill with the speed.
Correct.
A little bit of a bigger guy.
Correct.
So it's the maturation of Lamar Jackson. I think, he has played great. He has gotten a lot better. I'm not taking anything away from him. It has a lot to do with the fact that they added what is an elite playmaker, obviously. He was an elite playmaker at Oklahoma. He dealt with some injury issues, why he got drafted a little bit later probably. But this guy is a nightmare, and it doesn't just go to everything that touches the ball with him. I mean, the guy Mark Andrews is going to be benefiting from him. They constantly are running that type of bubble screen action.
I'll tell you, Dave, Mark Andrews is a top 5 tight end in the NFL.
At least for the usage. I mean, definitely for the usage and for what he's actually fantasy-wise, 100%.
And you know what shocks me is that Mark Ingram is catching 15-yard throws in this offense.
I kind of, and this offense is a lot different, but I kind of laugh. It's like Mark Ingram, he never was a guy who drops the ball. I think a lot of these running backs, people say, well, they're not pass catchers. It's not like they're dropping the ball all the time. I think it's just about the chance to be used. And I don't think that the Saints ever looked at it that way because they always had that more dynamic, slippery type of a back, obviously with Kamara and also with Sproles during Ingram's time. It just was never his role. So Ingram's obviously capable of doing it. So it doesn't necessarily shock me.
David, you know what is so funny about this offense is it's almost like a spinning wheel. Like their offense, how they have like Hollywood Brown. It's almost like a rotating like carnival. You have Hollywood Brown running your screen pass. You have, Lamar Jackson. He's almost like doing the wishbone with the run pass option with in the pistol formation with Mark Ingram. This offense is such a trip. And there's really like only 2 receivers going out for throws. It's not like an NFL offense at all. It's not like you're in a West Coast and you're reading through like 4 progressions on a play. There's 2 receivers going out. Lamar Jackson has had the cleanest pocket ever. He's not going to go through all these reads. It's a ridiculous offense that they're taking to the NFL, isn't it? Isn't it crazy to watch it? Like this spinning wheel of this, this pistol offense and him running the ball like this?
I mean, and here's the thing, though. They have come up with the offense and the weapons around him to where Lamar Jackson is able to throw the ball enough, and he's gotten to become a decent thrower, where last year I thought he was god-awful. I think he's definitely taken the step in the right direction and hitting the open receivers. You say it's the NFL. Well, at some point, everyone will figure out a way to stop it. Well, if you want to take away the outside runs, well, they're just going to jam it up the middle with that great offensive line with Ingram. You stack the box. Lamar is breaking it to the outside. Stack the box again. It becomes RPO, run pass option. It's with Hollywood Brown, and it's a tough offense. I mean, right now, this could definitely come into week 8, week 9, week 10 before anyone really has a ton of success stopping it.
You know what I would do? I would play. I would blitz Lamar Jackson a lot, and I would play man-to-man on Hollywood Brown. I think that the scariest guy in the offense is Mark Andrews because he's the most reliable. He can catch passes all day. That's the safety blanket. Lamar Jackson doesn't like throwing to the outside. He likes the middle of the field and Mark Andrews. So the way I would guard against the defense is really man-to-man. You got to force Lamar Jackson to throw over your head, if you can. So I still like man-to-man, make Lamar beat you with throwing the ball if possible. You got to have great gap contain. It's a little bit hard with Ingram to stop that running game. So it is kind of tricky to stop. And I think good defenses will be able to. But yeah, it's a great offense to watch. It's fun to watch.
And I agree, but I think you need a good defense. That's what it comes down to. I don't think that there's just a scheme that can necessarily stop this because of the athletes that they possess. Their athletes are just better. And
yeah, I mean, I got to give them credit thus far, but again, they played Miami and Arizona. I can't wait for that schedule to get even tougher.
We'll find out this week. So
yeah, David, I want to thank you again for coming on the show. I think I have maybe 4 picks from you. Should we maybe do one more game to get it to 5 NFL picks?
5 NFL picks?
Let's go. One
Monday
more
night.
quick one.
Okay. We got Monday night.
It's Chicago and Washington. Chicago's 4 points.
Oh, God.
Are you taking Chicago or you're not touching the game?
I'll give you a Monday night pick. I'm going to take as much as it hurts me to do it. I'm going to take the Washington Redskins.
All right. We'll go head to head. I'll take the Bears.
There you go.
There we go, David. Thanks so much. Did you enjoy it?
Had a great time. Good luck this weekend, guys.
Great luck. We're going 20-0 combined picks. We're going to hit on a lot of them, guys. Free money out there. David and Rover Sports. We say that kiddingly, but at the same time, we're not kidding.
Yeah, there's no kidding.
There's free money out there on the board, period. All righty, guys. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the football.
All right. Have a good one.